All right, so we're going to talk about some exponent properties. All right, so let's start with, how about we have x squared times x to the third. All right, so this is the product property. It's the product property because you're finding the product between two values. Remember, when you find the product, that's when you're multiplying two numbers together. So in this case, we're doing x to the second power times x to the third power. Since our bases are the same, remember when you're dealing with exponents, the number down at the bottom, that's just called your base. And the little flying miniature number up here in the upper right hand corner, that's your exponent. Okay, so if your bases are the same and all you're doing is multiplying, you're going to add your exponents. Okay, so you'd simply do 2 plus 3, which gives you x to the fifth. Now, that's all you do with that one. Let's look at it in expanded form, okay, because sometimes it just helps to see it written out. All right, so x squared times x to the third is the same thing as x times x times x times x times x. All right, so we're looking at this. X times x is your x squared. X times x times x is your x to the third. So we have how many x's in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since we have 5 x's being multiplied by each other, that gives you x to the fifth. Okay, so again, this was your product property. Bases are the same, add your exponents. If the bases are not the same, you do not add any exponents together, okay? No adding of exponents if the bases are not the same. All right, so let's go to another property. Let's say we have a to the fourth to the second power. So this property is called power to a power, okay? Anytime you have a number with an exponent, it's considered a power. So if you take a power and raise it to a power, all right, here's what you do. You multiply your exponents. So a to the fourth to the second power is a to the 4 times 2 power, which gives you a to the 8th power, okay? Writing this out in expanded form, anytime you square something, you're multiplying it by itself. So that's the same thing as saying a to the 4th times a to the 4th. Well, this is now written in the form of your product property, so you could now add these two exponents. 4 plus 4 is 8. If we break this down even further, a to the 4th is just 4 a's, right? A times a times a times a. Break down the other one. Okay, so now how many a's do we have being multiplied by each other? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's your power to a power property. Multiply the exponents. Okay, what if we have x to the third y squared all to the fifth power? This property is called your product to a power. It's slightly different from the last property, which was just a power to a power, because you now have a product inside your parentheses. So if you have a product to a power, it works the same way as your power to a power. You're going to multiply the exponents, but you have to multiply all the exponents. So you're going to have to multiply this 3 by the exponent on the outside, and you're also going to have to multiply the 2 by the exponent on the outside. So your result is going to be x to the 3 times 5 power, y to the 2 times 5 power, which gives us x to the 15th, y to the 10th power. All right, so that's your solution. Again, if you wrote this out in expanded form, you would write basically what's in the parentheses 5 times. You could add up your exponents that way. But that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of paper, and a lot of effort there. You could do it if that's what helps you, but if you'll just remember these properties, multiply everything on the inside, the exponents on the inside, by the exponent on the outside, okay? So again, this property was called your product to a power property.